Hello, this is Samuel Ray, also known as Dr. Sam, and welcome to Morning Boot Up. Let me say from the get-go that this is not an attempt at self-aggrandizing or, making myself look better by putting anyone else down. This is just me talking about something that came to my mind upon seeing some recent happenings in the content creator space. Particularly the fact that there have been a lot of, especially in the VTuber scene really, a lot of these VTuber entertainers who are being terminated, fired basically from their agencies and companies that employ them for breaching contract or for misconduct or saying things that they probably shouldn't while they're the face of a company, representing a company. And it's happened at least 3, maybe 4 times over the last 2 months. It's been crazy. It's been happening so often, just left and right. People dropping like flies. And then on the other hand, you also have content creators not even in the VTuber scene, just getting embroiled in different controversies and, saying things that put them in hot water. Or doing things that put them in hot water. It's just been really crazy to observe. And it got me to thinking, about integrity. And just couldn't help but wonder, what happened? Since when did it become more, not more normal, but why is it that over the last, several years, with each passing year, it seems like integrity, responsibility, and just in general positive values seem to be becoming increasingly they're on the decline. It seems to be slowly on the decline is what I'm trying to say. And we're just seeing more people doing things because, they want to do it, or it's impulse, impulsiveness, and the consequences are negative. And not only are there negative consequences and, being held accountable for your actions, but then you have people who defend the people for doing misconduct or breaching contract. They defend them and try to villainize the employer for taking action against someone who's bringing bad attention, a bad look, bad press to them. And it's like accountability is some evil thing, some oppressive thing to have consequences for your actions, particularly negative consequences for bad actions. And it just makes me think, why is this even a thought anybody can have, right? Why is there an allergic reaction to accountability? And why is the idea of holding strong and firm integrity and doing what you should do or doing what's right when that is the opposite, or just not in general, just not what you want to do? And I always say that a good person will do what is right, or will do what they are supposed to do when it's not what they want to do personally, or they will do what is right for the sake of others instead of for their own personal gain. That is a huge defining trait of a good person, right? A good person will do good rather than their own selfish desire, or their own self-centered desires or impulses. They will think. And like I said at the beginning, this is not me self-aggrandizing myself or trying to make myself look better by putting others down, because all humans have the capacity to use reasoning, to use logic, to have a conscience, to feel guilty about doing something bad. Those are all things that we as humans, that makes us unique, that separates us from the beasts. Animals operate off of instinct, and that instinct is coded into their biology. Shortly after birth, they know how to be whatever animal they are. Humans, we start off as a blank slate. As babies, humans are incredibly helpless and vulnerable, relying on your parents for everything, unable to communicate, right? Or just crying out when needing anything at all, or at the slightest sign of discomfort, or, being startled or scared. But as you grow up, humans can learn to have good traits and values. We're born innocent. It's the environment around us, it's the other people that teach us to have negative traits, to have cruelty or dishonesty, or, it's all learned, it's acquired. And then in the end result, for people to act like accountability, integrity, and being held responsible for your actions is a bad thing, is just such an indicator of something just went terribly wrong somewhere in their lives that caused them to even entertain such a thought. And it's a bit disappointing, I'll be completely honest, because especially in the case of these content creators, because I'm not going to get into the socio-political stuff. A lot of these is rooted in society. It's our societal environment that does cause people to have poor values, or a lack of values, I should say, lack of good principles or positive traits, and that tendency to do according to one's selfish wants instead of what is right or what is good. But it's in this content creator and entertainment space, it's disappointing to see people who have an opportunity that the vast majority do not get, right? To be hired and paid to be an entertainer, an internet content creator, to make money off of that is difficult as it is. And then to make enough money to make a living off of it, to make it your primary career, let alone a side career, that's something that the overwhelming minority get to enjoy, right? The 2%, so to speak. And then to see people in such a position of opportunity just squander it on such irresponsibility and lack of integrity, it's I can't say it's anything but disappointing, because there's so many other people who would love to have that opportunity and may not have squandered it like such. Smaller content creators who put in the work and the time and never see an equivalent amount of return on that time and energy investment, who would love to be in that position and would do everything they can to maintain that, to show appreciation for that opportunity. Because to be in a position where you are a public figure of any kind of note means you're going to have an audience, a sizable audience, a lot of watchers and fans, people who enjoy your content, people who enjoy your personality, what you do in the content creation space, people who your entertainment helps through hard times, or who you give them some place where they feel like they belong, or just an escape from the craziness of this harsh world we live in. And then to take actions or do things that then not only squander the opportunity you've been given, but also result in depriving your fan base, your audience, of this entertainment, this escape, this comfort, whatever your content is to them. You deprive them of that if you take actions that are irresponsible and lack integrity. And so integrity is a very strong and very just universally positive trait. And if you have integrity, you're going to think about those people. You're going to act accordingly. You don't want to disappoint your audience. Now that said, that doesn't mean you're going to let them control every aspect of your life and determine who you are. You know, you're not going to let others define you. But when you are a figurehead, you have to think about more than yourself. And even when you're not, even as an individual, every action you take affects more than just yourself. No one person is an island. You know, every action you take will affect those who are close to you, loved ones like friends and family, or coworkers, or your employer. And so to disregard that is just selfish, plain and simple. It truly is. And yes, like I said, you know, you shouldn't let others determine who you are, right? Control you, force you to be whoever they want you to be. However, you know, so this freedom of speech, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Freedom of speech, freedom of choice, free will in general. The freedom to choose who you will be, right? To choose how you will act in any given situation. That is an inherent right every human has, right? That freedom is an inalienable human right? And should be respected. That goes without saying. However, while a person's freedom, personal freedoms, free will, while that should be respected, the actions a person takes, there is no obligation for anyone else to respect the actions. So I will stand by that. So I will respect everyone's, you know, free will, their freedom to be whatever they want to be. I'm not going to force others to live by my standards, right? In my content and my community, yes, I have rules, and I will uphold those rules because I need to keep things on a brand. And when your brand is more on the family-friendly side, you have to be more strict with your rules in order to keep things according, because if you don't, people, you know, malicious people will step in, bad actors, and will try to derail that, will try to corrupt that. And when you have an all ages kind of audience, both adults and younger, because while my content, you know, while the way I behave is still as an adult, it's on that maturity level, I naturally, in my day-to-day life, I don't use profanity or innuendo, so by just being myself, my content is more on the clean side, right? And so I'm just going to be myself. That's what I want to do. I just want to be me. I want to be genuine. I want to be real. And that's my appeal, you know, and that's my conviction. I'm not going to let anyone corrupt that. So I'm going to uphold some rules for that, right? And that is my right for my content and my community. And those who don't like it, there's many other places. There's a myriad of places they can go to where they can do things that aren't on the clean end. That's fine, you know, that's their right. But while I respect everyone's free will, I have no obligation to respect people's decisions to behave badly, to be inconsiderate, to be impulsive and disregard others that they impact. There is absolutely zero obligation for me to respect bad choices. I respect the freedom of choice, the free will, but I will not respect bad choices, and therefore I won't associate with people who make said bad choices on a consistent basis, right? Everyone makes mistakes, but someone who chooses to be certain ways that lack good values or lack integrity, I am not going to respect that, and I'm not going to choose to spend time with such people. That's just how it is, and that's called being wise with your associations, you know, who you choose to spend your time with. I mean, we all should do that, right? If there's someone who just gets under your skin, you're not going to choose to spend time with them, especially not more than you have to. So it's nothing horrible or exclusionary to do so, right? It's just exercising your freedom of choice in a different way. So again, like I said, I'm not self-aggrandizing here, because everything that I'm saying here, all this stuff about having integrity, responsibility, and good values, I'm not special in my ability to do so. Like I said earlier, it is a capability that all humans have. It's what sets us apart from the beasts. We have the ability to choose, and we have the ability to choose to do good. That's how it is, right? And those who do good are worth more respect than those who choose to do bad. And, you know, like I said, I'm not special in my ability to do that, and I'm not even perfect, right? I've made my mistakes in my life, and I learn from those mistakes, and I try to do better every time I make a mistake. And that's something that all humans are capable of. So again, not self-aggrandizing here. Every single person has that capability. Every single person should be able to do so. So I'm not putting anyone down. If anything, I'm trying to say, to encourage people who listen to this to live up to that capability, you know, to choose to do what is right, do what you're supposed to, you know, uphold contracts, you know, agreements, be a person of your word, right? When you are signing that contract agreement with a company to become, you know, a VTuber under an agency, or a content creator under a sponsor, or under an umbrella company, you are agreeing, you are giving a legally binding promise to not do certain things that are laid out that you cannot do in said contract. So to make a legally binding agreement to promise not to do those things, and then to turn around and just do it, and it doesn't matter how long after you sign that contract, if the contract is valid and you break contract while it is active, there is no respecting that. That is not worth respect. That is not worth defending. You know, the saying the company is soft for punishing this. No, that's not something that should be anyone's thought process. That shouldn't even be a consideration in anyone's mind. You broke contract. If you know that you don't want to uphold certain aspects of your contract agreement, don't sign the contract in the first place. Period. Plain and simple. That's just how it is. Read the contract. Consider everything. Take into consideration legal advice. You know, have a lawyer or a consultant that you can go to, especially if you're on the level of, you know, the higher end of content creation. But regardless, if you're not going to uphold that contract, don't sign it in the first place. Have the foresight to say, I'm reading this, I understand it, I see the guidelines that are laid out in it, and I'm making this agreement to uphold it for whatever term that the contract is valid. And then have the integrity to stick to it. Be a person of your word. That's literally it. And like I said, I'm going to reiterate this as many times as I have to. I'm not self-aggrandizing here. I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. Every single human being has the capability to do this. That's what makes us human. So just do it. You know? I'm not saying don't make mistakes, because when someone makes a mistake, they don't get terminated. They just get corrected, and then they turn around their behavior, right? And you can tell when that's the case, because you can see the person's behavior. You can see the changes according. But when someone gets terminated, that's because they broke contract, either in such a severe way that there was no mending the relationship, the business relationship, or they just didn't want to. You know, they didn't care, or they refused to turn around their behavior, and that's not deserving respect or defense. Simple as that. The company's not being soft for upholding that. If anything, putting your foot down and upholding an agreement is the opposite of being soft. You know, being soft in any kind of situation like that would be to fold, to bend the knee, to say, oh, we know you broke contract, but we're not going to do anything about it because we don't want to make you inconvenienced. That's soft. No, the opposite of soft is to uphold it, to terminate when necessary, to, you know, correct and maybe give some negative consequences, suspend a little bit if need be, or, you know, make a public statement, you know, disowning said statement or behavior that the person engaged in. That's, you know, upholding those rules. That's not soft. That's not unjust. That's not oppressive. If you don't want to be beholden to any kind of rules, don't agree to them in the first place. But like I've said in another episode of Morning Boot Up, there is no area in life where we have no rules. If you're going to work for a company, there's going to be rules. My current employer at my new job, there's certain things I cannot divulge, certain personal information for clients I cannot tell to anyone. There's certain information I can't even say to coworkers. And if I were to break those rules, I could lose my job. That's just part of life. That's just part of living as an adult in any kind of a professional environment, in any professional capacity. That is something I agreed to when I took the job offer. That's called being a responsible adult. That's called having integrity. And that's pretty much it, you know? I'm not anyone special. I'm not some saint who's holier than anyone else. I am just as human as anyone else, and humans all have the capacity to be decent, to have integrity, to be responsible, to be considerate of others and how one's actions and words will impact others. That's all human traits, universal. So there's no reason, that people can't at least try. And you can tell when someone's trying and when someone's not trying. If someone's trying and they mess up, that's a one thing. That's another part of being human. If someone's not even trying, well, that's not deserving any respect, is it? That's actually kind of a despicable way to be. I'm going to do what I want because that's what I want and because I can, without even considering if they should. That's just have some more integrity is what I'm trying to say. And I'm not really accusing anyone of not having integrity. I'm saying that it has been on the decline year in, year out. I'm noticing it. But in the content creation space, there just seems to be a rash of a lack of integrity. Just particularly bad string of actions from different people who have resulted in getting terminated that show a lack of integrity. And so I just wanted to talk about that because it's just something I noticed in this space that I engage in. And I'm still small. I'm a really small content creator because I do it as a hobby. I do it because I want to and because I enjoy it, not because I get paid for it. I have my day job for that. So I'm not exactly selling out for anything. I'm not exactly shilling for anything. I'm just speaking my thoughts. And again, to make this more encouraging, nobody is incapable of this. You, I, we all of humanity are capable of having integrity. So just do your best to be one of the people who are taking advantage of that capability, who live up to that capability, who actually try. That's all you need. If you try, you're setting yourself ahead of the pack already. And that is really commendable to those who already agree with that and who understand and already apply that in your lives. Super commendable. Like, legit, respect to you, power to you. I love it. Keep it up. And I'm going to do, I'm going to walk the walk and talk the talk. I'm going to live by my words. I'm going to keep doing my darnest to have integrity and to have conviction for my values. That's just part of who I am. And I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it genuine. So, and in this community, we're going to keep to those kind of values and principles. So if you want a space that is welcoming, whether you're young or old, clean, nothing that's going to be divisive and alienate anyone based on lived experiences or whatever, or any kind of socio-political leanings, none of that holds any value in my community. Leave it at the door, be a good person to each other, and you're welcome here. That's literally it. So I'm not gonna be some crazy activist type. I'm just going to be as decent a person as I can. I'm going to have fun with my community, and you're welcome to join in the fun. Good games with good people is how I like to put it. So just be a good person, come and enjoy some good games with us and some good discussion, and just try to have some integrity. Everyone's capable of it. So if you try, you will succeed more than you will fail. That's just kind of how it is for humans. We all fail sometimes, but we succeed more often than we fail when we actually put in honest effort. And that's all I'm saying to try and do. If you put in honest effort and you make a mistake and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, I'm going to do better. It shows in your actions and your words. People can tell when you're being real and when you're being fake, generally. So just be real, try to be a good person, have some integrity, and you'll go places. You'll have integrity, you'll be a decent person, you'll be likable, you'll be respectable. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. So, yeah, if you enjoyed what I said, if it gave you anything to think about, hit the like and subscribe or follow, depending on what platform you're listening to, because this will be on YouTube and audio podcast platforms. Feel free to hit me up on Twitter, on Discord. I'm at S_factor_Sam. Same as you'll see as the artist or publisher or channel name. It's the same across all socials. Feel free to let me know in the YouTube comments or on Twitter with the hashtag counterpick_pod about your thoughts, or just at me or DM me. My DMs are open. Just be respectable, be measured in your response, don't attack, don't be vulgar, and we'll have some good discussion. I love getting feedback from people, getting thoughts and perspectives on these whatever topic I'm talking about. If you bring up something I didn't think about, let me know. I love hearing things that I didn't think of myself in the moment. And even if you disagree, let me know, and then let me know respectably why. I am always open to consider thought processes and trains of thought that I did not consider before. That's how we learn, right? Be open-minded to hear others. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to, I'm going to bend the knee to everything others say and just tell everybody who disagrees with me, oh, you're absolutely right, and my opinion is just my opinion. Some things I can honestly say is not my opinion, and I will stand by that. I can be stubborn like that, but honestly, I'm always open to hearing other thoughts, at the very least. Even if it doesn't change my mind, I'm willing to have discussion and discourse. Civil discourse, that is. So, let's open that up. Feel free to let me know. Alright, I'm going to get on with the rest of my day. This has been the Morning Boot Up with Dr. Sam. And you have a great morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever it is in your corner of the world. And you have a good one. Talk to you some other time soon. Later.